Now, this is ground zero for the search for 4-year-old Athena. Authorities have been staging dozens of search parties here at Family Life Church. We've watched drones take off all day right here, horseback and even four-wheelers in that desperate search to find that little girl. Investigators go into night 2 of searching for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield with no sight of the little girl.
We are collecting items that could be relevant. I'm not going to call them evidence, but we are finding things around town that could be helpful in this case.
Authorities have been searching high and low, in the air with helicopters, using infrared and drones, to climbing deep into holes and knocking on doors.
We're still working on putting together the exact timeline.
Athena was reported missing at 2 p.m. yesterday when a mail carrier found her 5-year-old sister alone near their home on the 200 block of West Nebraska Avenue.
We can report that she did not require medical care. At the time, of course, she was frightened. That goes without saying when you're a 5-year-old. She's currently in protective custody with the state.
Authorities would not say where Athena's parents are. With more than 24 hours into the search, OSBI has added additional partners to try and find this little girl.
National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they're helping us out. The Comanche Nation is coming to help, as well as Fort Sill is providing some soldiers for the search operations that OHP is running with their ERTs.
As night comes again, investigators worry about the dropping temperatures and rocky terrain.
We were talking about a toddler who's been on her own, so I would say yes.
Now today, authorities have released very few details into Athena's disappearance. They do say search efforts will continue tonight. Authorities ask neighbors and local businesses in Cyril to look at their Ring camera video and bring it here to the local church to see if they can try and find where Athena went.
Including the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they're helping us out. The Comanche Nation is coming to help, as well as Fort Sill is providing some soldiers for the search operations that OHP is running with their ERTs. We've been out all day conducting those grid searches with volunteers, and we really appreciate their support along with OHP's support in managing that effort. We are collecting items that could be relevant. I'm not going to call them evidence, but we are finding things around town that could be helpful in this case. One of the questions from this morning was about the health and condition of the 5-year-old that was found yesterday. Excuse me. We can report that she did not require medical care. At the time, of course, she was frightened. That goes without saying when you're a 5-year-old. She's currently in protective custody with the state, but she did not require any sort of medical care at the time. We really appreciate all the tips that have been called in to our tip line. We encourage anybody in town, whether you're a business owner or a resident, that if you have any sort of video cameras or Ring doorbell systems, if you can come down to the church and provide that to law enforcement, it will be very beneficial. Let's see. We're still working on putting together the exact timeline. But again, I can confirm that this investigation really kicked off yesterday about 2 p.m. when the postal carrier located the 5-year-old and contacted the police department. And then we got involved later that night. And then, of course, all of our law enforcement partners have joined us, and we've been looking for her nonstop since the original call came into the police department. With that, I'm going to let Trooper Foster answer some questions about OHP resources that are out here and also address the Amber Alert.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol was requested last night, and obviously we're here to assist. And so we brought all of the resources that are available to be able to come and assist. We've been in the air with helicopter, with infrared. We've been on the ground. Obviously, you've seen around town there are a lot of grid searches on foot going around and on four-wheelers, things like that. And so our ERT team, which is a team specially trained to go on foot in search of people and things, are out in coordination with civilians who have come and wanted to volunteer their time and effort, and that's really a great thing to see, especially in Oklahoma. We see that all the time. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol also is utilizing boats on some of these small ponds out here to make sure that we check waterways and check those thoroughly to make sure all of that is done appropriately with sonar and things like that we can see in the water. And so the Oklahoma Highway Patrol is very much involved in just assisting whatever needs to be done that is requested from OSBI and the city of Surreal. You know, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved. And really, you know, I reach out and say, pray for all of those involved, not just on the law enforcement side, but there are a lot of people, there are a lot of civilians, there are a lot of resources being put into this that, you know, that this is done appropriately. To answer the Amber Alert question, there have been a lot of questions on the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert has specific guidelines that we have to adhere to push out the Amber Alert specifically. The Amber Alert goes out nationwide. So once we push that button, it goes all the way to Washington, D.C. and goes out like that. So there's specific things and guidelines that we have to follow. Not every part of that guideline came into play in this. And so that wasn't done. So the next best thing that we could do was a missing and endangered notification. That went out in a 15-mile radius in around where we knew that the person was missing. And so that's why you didn't get it statewide. Those emergency alerts didn't go statewide. It went locally, and that was really the important time frame that we needed to get that out. And it was pushed on social media. All of the news outlets were able to get that immediately. And so it was done in a very efficient way by guidelines. And there are reasons for those guidelines. The Department of Justice puts out those guidelines to help us kind of put that together. And so that's kind of the answer on that. Brooke?
Yeah. I just want to conclude with a couple of things. There's a lot of talk about this investigation on social media. Obviously, we can't stop that, but it can be counterproductive to the investigation. So I would encourage people not to report or spread rumors or innuendos that they see on social media. And lastly, I think on behalf of all of us here and involved, all of the volunteers, we would like to thank the community. If you haven't been inside, there's just been an outpouring of food and water for the law enforcement and the searchers here and the volunteers that are giving their time and energy to finding her. The restaurants, the churches, the volunteers here, we really appreciate them, and obviously couldn't continue this investigation without their help. We'll take a few questions. I'm just going to be honest, guys, that's pretty much what we know at this point in time. So I don't know how many questions we'll be able to answer, but certainly you can try.
How old is Athena? We've seen 3 and we've seen 4.
We can confirm she's 4. Originally we thought she was 3, but she is 4.
Thank you.
Where are the parents right now?
That's part of the ongoing investigation.
I'm the maternal grandmother.
Okay.
My son's informed, dealing with what he needs to deal with.
Okay.
I have another question. So when was she last seen? We've seen Sunday, we've seen Friday. When was the last time she was seen?
Well, as I mentioned, we're still building that timeline, and we're working and talking to witnesses and neighbors and people in town to build out that timeline. What I can confirm to you, that is not rumor or innuendo, is that this investigation began at 2 o'clock yesterday when her 5-year-old sister was located by the postal carrier.
That's when we found out.
I have a question. Has today's search brought any progress? And there's been some people saying they may have picked up a railroad tracks, anything like that?
Nothing at this point that I can confirm. We're still very actively looking for her using all of our tools, thanks to OHP and our other law enforcement partners. Like I did say, we are finding things that we hope might give us clues as to where she is. We're still actively looking for her.
Is there a chance that this investigation will spread outside of this area, outside of just the city in general?
At this point in time, we're here, we're staying in town, we're looking in town, and we'll see what happens with as the investigation progresses.
Does temperature or terrain pose any kind of concern right now?
Well, you're talking about a toddler who's been on her own, so I would say yes.
Can you give a description of her and what she might have been wearing?
description is difficult. I believe we were last told she was reporting or wearing a butterfly hoodie. She's blonde, she's 4. Her picture's on social media. I can confirm that's her if you want to share that. But that's what we've got so far.
What will the search effort look like going forward through the night?
That's an excellent question. It's obviously going to be ongoing. We're going to be here until it moves into a different phase. So I think that's pretty much all I've got. We definitely want, on behalf of all of us, to thank everybody that's out here looking and helping find her. And thank you guys for your coverage. It helps get the word out.
Oh, my arms hurt so much. Work at it. Sorry.
All right, so you just heard from members of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol there, a spokesperson as well as Trooper Eric Foster. 4-year-old Athena Brownfield reported missing yesterday in Cyril, a postal carrier finding Athena's 5-year-old sister, who was near their home, reported it to police. They then discovered that the 4-year-old Athena was missing. And right now, we just received some information right there. The fact that that 5-year-old is safe, healthy, we're told, in protective custody. They have been receiving tips. They want neighbors and businesses to send them surveillance video and doorbell footage that people might have. But there are a lot of questions that are still not being answered. We have our Kylie Thomas there on scene. I think, Kylie, we heard you asking some questions. And one of the big questions as we bring you in here that we don't have an answer for right now is how these girls got outside of their home. And we heard the question, where are the parents? And they're not able to give us an answer to that right now.
Yeah, that's right. Authorities are very lip-locked as far as this investigation knows. What we do know is they did conduct a search warrant on Athena's home there on the 200 block of West Nebraska Avenue, but they said that is standard procedure. And since 9 p.m. last night, authorities have been searching Cyril high and low. You saw they brought out the helicopters using infrared last night. This morning they brought in the dogs, the horses, 4-wheelers, and last night hundreds of volunteers. This morning, dozens coming again on a weekday to search for 4-year-old, as we are now learning, 4-year-old Athena. Now, we have been following these search parties as they have been looking on railroad tracks and through holes in the ground, anywhere this little girl could have crawled to. Again, we don't know much information about why Athena is missing or why her 5-year-old daughter was outside their home, but we do know that her sister is safe and is in state custody. We will stay here in Cyril and bring you the very latest in this investigation. Back to you, Evan.
Well, Kylie, really quick, let me ask you a question, because it was really tough to hear watching on video and watching that news conference. But at one point when the question about the parents came up, there was another voice off camera. I thought I might have heard that it was a family member. Can you tell me who that was and what was said at that moment?
Yes, I believe that is Athena's grandmother. We had one of our reporters interview her this morning. She said that she has been here, drove down here this morning, and is not going to leave until Athena is found. We believe it is Athena's father's mother who was here. She has been here all day asking questions and said that she is not going to leave until she has some answers into where Athena went.
I'll tell you what, your heart really goes out to her, that grandmother, and everybody out there who's joined in on this search effort. Obviously, a 4-year-old little girl. The temperatures are warmer than normal for January, which is a good thing, but obviously it is a really scary situation. We're going to be following this story with the help of Kylie there in Cyril, as well as our team coverage right here on KOCO 5. But again, Athena Brownfield, 4 years old, blonde, adorable little girl, last seen, they believe, in a butterfly hoodie. We're going to keep up on this story. You can follow us on KOCO.com, as well as the KOCO app. And if you live in Cyril, and if you have any sort of security camera, doorbell camera, police want to see that footage just so they can put it all together and see who was moving around the town at that time. Again, reported missing yesterday. Evan Onstad here in the KOCO 5 studios. We'll keep up on this story, and we'll get you back now to your normal programming.
Those breaking developments out of Surreal. State and local law enforcement continue to search for that little girl reported missing on Tuesday.
The entire community in southwest Oklahoma helping look for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield all day yesterday. KOCO's Kylie Walker is live in Surreal this morning with the very latest and what we know so far about the investigation. Kylie.
Yeah, Alejandra, Shelby, good morning. No answers from Surreal this morning, but we do know that OSBI, they concluded a search of the area with volunteers here in the community just yesterday afternoon, but they are not done. And I want to show you some pictures that OHP posted on their Facebook page yesterday. You can see the boats that they used in the search, the staging that they planned with volunteers, and our crews on the scene all day yesterday saw drones and helicopters out. Just to recap what happened, what we know in this case, actually, 4-year-old Athena Brownfield was reported missing after a mail carrier found her 5-year-old sister unattended near their home on West Nebraska Avenue on Tuesday. OSPI says that they are in contact with Athena's parents. They say that they are continuing interviews and also reviewing any surveillance video footage that they got from neighboring homes, businesses, things like that, that can lead them to where Athena could be. Reporting live, Kylie Walker, KOCO 5 News.
An urgent search happening right now. Breaking developments still coming in from Surreal. The FBI on the ground there helping search for a missing 3-year-old girl.
Investigators have released a picture here we're going to show you of Athena Brownfield, who they say went missing yesterday afternoon. You can see that below us here. KOCO's Kylie Walker is live in Surreal this morning with the latest. Kylie.
Yeah, Shelby, Alejandra, good morning. OSBI is asking anyone who wants to help in the search for this 3-year-old girl to meet them here right behind me at the Family Life Church here in Surreal. We did talk to investigators this morning. They tell us that they are on hour 24 working this case. They are still searching for this little girl, and they say that now the FBI has joined them. And I want to pull that picture up of that little girl right now. That is, again, 3-year-old Athena Brownfield. She reportedly went missing from near her home on the 200 block of West Nebraska Avenue yesterday afternoon. And police say a mail carrier called police to report an unattended child. It turns out that that was Athena's 5-year-old sister, and that led police to learn about the missing 3-year-old. Now, here's video of search parties from last night. Surreal Police, Caddo County Sheriff's Office, and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, they're all helping with the efforts to find this little girl. Our partner station, KWSO, reporting police taped off the little girl's home around 9 p.m. And OSBI says that hundreds of people have helped with this search for Athena.
Town has kind of been out. We've also used dog teams and infrared, and we're just asking the community if they want to help to come here to the Faith Church right here in Surreal. That's where we'll be coordinating our search efforts.
And again, that search active and ongoing. Again, they want anyone to who wants to help with this search to meet them here at Family Life Church this morning. We do know that, again, they are using helicopters. Just a while ago, OHP had their helicopter up using that to search for this little girl. They're using dogs. They're using infrared. You heard that investigator there. They're asking anyone with any information about Athena's whereabouts to call their tip line. For now, though, reporting live, Kylie Walker, KOCO 5 News.
Right now, the big question is, where is Athena Brownfield? Even though the grid search stopped yesterday, that's not stopping the town of Surreal from finding Athena. Now, again, a big question on everyone's mind is, where is the parents or the guardian in this situation? Where's the mom? That's suspicious, and all authorities can tell me is that that's part of the investigation. Well, we heard from Athena's paternal grandmother. She tells me that the father has not spoken to the girls or has seen them since the mom took off with them more than a year ago.
She abandoned her kids. She knew where I was. She knew where he was. The dad, which is my eldest son, all of a sudden, boom, he's not sleeping well. I'm not sleeping well. Everything's jumbled into one big old ball.
Today will bring a third day of searching for little Athena. Thousands of volunteers have searched the streets and the waterways here in Surreal. Flyers have been handed out and posted, volunteers searching for Athena as if she was one of their own. Now, OSBI says they have been finding items around town, and it's not exactly evidence, but hopefully helpful enough to help them lead them to Athena. Several residents have talked to us, and they shared stuff like this just doesn't happen here.
Because I'm a mom. It's a 3-year-old. So yeah, that's the drive, just to find the little girl. So I think it's any town with any child, you're gonna resonate and want to find them.
Again, take a good look at this picture of Athena. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. OSBI says she was last seen wearing a pink butterfly sweater and pants. I'm Natalie Cruz for Oklahoma Zone News 9.
We will stay on top of this story. If you have any information that might help in this case, call the OSBI tip line 1-800-522-8017, or you can email tips@osbi.ok.gov.
Yes, it's just me.
Okay.
Thank you. Is everybody ready? Thumbs up from everybody? Okay. So as you know, I'm Brooke R. Beitman. I'm the PIO at the OSBI. We do have a very limited update for you guys right now in the Athena Brownfield investigation. Care. As you guys all know, the 5-year-old was found wandering outside of the Adams' house on West Nebraska in Surreal, and a postal carrier found the 5-year-old, and that's when police were notified. At this point, the investigation into her whereabouts continues. We are actually getting tips from across Oklahoma as well as multiple other states. As you also are aware, trash service in town was suspended. That was in an effort to search for additional clues as to Athena's whereabouts. Right now, I want everyone to understand we're still looking for her. Nothing has changed. Despite what's being said out there, we're looking for her. Our analysts and our team of multiple law enforcement agencies are reviewing surveillance video from around town, and again, pursuing any tip that comes in, following it up, and trying to identify any clues that can be used to locate Athena.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
As you know, we're being assisted by multiple law enforcement partners, and we really appreciate everything that everyone has done to assist us in locating this child. We're praying for her family and her relatives, and for the investigators who are looking for her. We also really appreciate and want to make it abundantly clear that this town has taken us in. They've taken care of us. The volunteers who've dedicated their time and energy are very much appreciated. A lot of people are reaching out asking if there's anything they can do. Right now we don't need volunteers to come down and look, because again, we're collecting clues and trying to locate her, but if that changes, of course, we'll let everybody know. But it should be noted that we appreciate that, and we appreciate the community of Surreal. I can't answer a lot of questions. You guys can try to pepper them at me, but that's pretty much all I can release at this time.
Can you confirm that that woman who was arrested was the primary caregiver of the girls?
The girls were in the care of Miss Adams and her husband.
Is the husband going to be arrested as well?
No comment at this time.
How's Miss Adams related to the girls? Is she related to the mom or the dad, or how did she have custody of the girls?
We'll get to that when the time's right.
Can you confirm that investigators looked at waste or investigated the nearby transfer stations, including the one in Ninnekah or Fletcher?
I can't confirm that. I'm not aware of that, but I can say, again, we were looking for any clues as related to the trash, any little piece of evidence that we could secure that might give us a tip as to where she is. That included the trash.
So is this now considered a nationwide search for her?
I wouldn't go that far. It's just, I think that demonstrates how this story is so impactful and how many people care about this child, want to see her returned, and people are phoning in those tips from across the country, and we're following everything.
Has the doorbell camera, the urgency to get a hold of that, has that helped at all in your search?
I don't know that there's a lot of doorbell cameras that have been turned in, but we have a lot of surveillance video from around town that we are analyzing as we speak. So,
is DHS involved?
No comment at this time. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I don't know if I'll have another update tonight, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware that we do have those arrests, 2 counts of child neglect. So, thank you all.
Thank you.
Brooke, we need that mic. Brooke, we need that mic. I'm trying to help you out here.
But we have some breaking news right now we're getting from OSBI. Let's go straight to them and their press conference in Surreal.
Date for you guys right now in the Athena Brownfield investigation. As you guys all know, the 5-year-old was found wandering outside of the Adams' house on West Nebraska in Surreal, and a postal carrier found the 5-year-old, and that's when police were notified. At this point, the investigation into her whereabouts continues. We are actually getting tips from across Oklahoma as well as multiple other states. As you also are aware, trash service in town was suspended. That was in an effort to search for additional clues as to Athena's whereabouts. Right now, I want everyone to understand we're still looking for her. Nothing has changed. Despite what's being said out there, we're looking for her. Our analysts and our team of multiple law enforcement agencies are reviewing surveillance video from around town, and again, pursuing any tip that comes in, following it up, and trying to identify any clues that can be used to locate Athena.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
As you know, we're being assisted by multiple law enforcement partners, and we really appreciate everything that everyone has done to assist us in locating this child. We're praying for her family and her relatives, and for the investigators who are looking for her. We also really appreciate and want to make it abundantly clear that this town has taken us in. They have taken care of us. The volunteers who've dedicated their time and energy are very much appreciated. A lot of people are reaching out asking if there's anything they can do. Right now we don't need volunteers to come down and look, because again, we're collecting clues and trying to locate her, but if that changes, of course, we'll let everybody know. But it should be noted that we appreciate that, and we appreciate the community of Surreal. I can't answer a lot of questions. You guys can try to pepper them at me, but that's pretty much all I can release at this time.
Can you confirm that that woman who was arrested was the primary caregiver of the girls?
The girls were in the care of Miss Adams and her husband.
Is the husband going to be arrested as well?
No comment at this time.
How is Miss Adams related to the girls? Is she related to the mom or the dad, or how did she have custody of the girls?
We'll get to that when the time's right.
Can you confirm that investigators looked at waste or investigated the nearby transfer stations, including the one in Ninnekah or Fletcher?
I can't confirm that. I'm not aware of that, but I can say, again, we were looking for any clues as related to the trash, any little piece of evidence that we could secure that might give us a tip as to where she is. That included the trash.
So is this now considered a nationwide search for her?
I wouldn't go that far. It's just, I think that demonstrates how this story is so impactful and how many people care about this child, want to see her returned, and people are phoning in those tips from across the country, and we're following everything.
Has the doorbell camera, the urgency to get a hold of that, has that helped at all in your search?
I don't know that there's a lot of doorbell cameras that have been turned in, but we have a lot of surveillance video from around town that we are analyzing as we speak. So,
is DHS involved?
no comment at this time. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I don't know if I'll have another update tonight, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware that we do have those arrests, 2 counts of child neglect. So, thank you all.
All right, we're getting the latest information from OSBI right now on this missing 4-year-old, Athena Brownfield, who was reported missing out of Surreal on Tuesday. Now learning from state investigators that Alysia Adams has been arrested on 2 counts of child neglect, and that Athena and her little sister were in the care of this woman and her husband. We're going to take a break right now. Stay with KOCO for more information. Developing this morning, a woman has been arrested in connection to the missing 4-year-old Athena Brownfield. Alysia Adams now in custody.
Investigators say she's Athena and her 5-year-old sister's caregiver. Only on 5, our crew was there on scene in Surreal as a Suburban was towed away from the woman's home. KOCO's Kylie Walker joins us now live this morning with the very latest.
Yeah, Alejandra, Shelby, good morning. Special agents with OSBI arresting 32-year-old Alysia Adams yesterday. OSBI says that Adams was booked into the Caddo County Jail. She faces 2 counts of child neglect as the search for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield continues. Now, investigators say Brownfield and her 5-year-old sister were in the care of Adams and her husband, who hasn't yet been named and right now unclear if he'll be arrested. But we did ask if DHS was involved in the case in any way, and we were told no comment. Now, no word yet on why police towed away that Suburban parked outside of Adams' home. OSBI following tips and even pausing trash service in the town to find clues that'll lead them to finding Athena. Volunteers offering a reward for info.
At this time, there is a $1,000 reward being offered for information leading to the recovery of Athena Brownfield and/or the identification, arrest, and conviction of the person or persons responsible for her disappearance.
There are flyers that are going around town, and on them it says that Athena may have been wearing a pink sweater and pants before she was reported missing. OSBI continuing to ask anyone with any information that'll help them to call their tip line.
A man has been arrested in Phoenix in connection to the disappearance of a little girl in Oklahoma. Phoenix police took 36-year-old Ivon Adams into custody yesterday near 67th Avenue and Camelback Road. Now, we're told by police he is a caregiver for a 4-year-old little girl named Athena Brownfield, who is missing from a town about 75 miles southwest of Oklahoma City. So on Tuesday, a postal worker found Athena's 5-year-old sister wandering alone, but still no sign of her little sister. Law enforcement across Oklahoma has been searching for Athena since then. Adams' wife, Alysia Adams, was arrested in Oklahoma for child neglect.
4 days into the ongoing search for Athena Brownfield, the 4-year-old reported missing Tuesday. State investigators say there is still an active search.
New tonight, 2 of Athena's caregivers have been arrested. One of them just had their first court appearance in Arizona, apparently facing, this just coming in, a homicide charge. The other caregiver scheduled a court appearance today in Anadarko.
KOCO's Elise Jones has been following this very closely. She's live with us at the Caddo County Courthouse. Elise, what's the latest in the investigation?
Evan, Jess, both of those caregivers of Athena Brownfield behind bars, Ivon and Alysia Adams. Now, like you said, just in, we got these documents from ABC Phoenix that says Ivon Adams could be facing child homicide charges here in Oklahoma. Now, he did appear in court today in Phoenix, where he is. He's expected to be extradited back within the next 30 days or so. And they said that he was being held on a $1 million bond. Now, as for Alysia, we were here in Anadarko all day. She was expected to be in court, but because of the judge and district attorney's discretion, that didn't happen. So we don't know any possible accusations against her. We also are unsure of her bond right now. But what we do know is that this still is an active search for little Athena Brownfield. Alysia Adams still has yet to face a judge in Caddo County after being arrested Thursday on 2 counts of child neglect. Her husband, Ivon Adams, was seen in court in Phoenix, Arizona.
I want to get there and take care of it. So you want to waive your right? I don't want to hear and hear.
Where he waits to be extradited back to Oklahoma. The couple's arrests come days after a 4-year-old little girl, Athena Brownfield, who was in their care, went missing. A postal carrier found Athena's 5-year-old sister in the yard alone. That's when police were called and the search began. The Cyril Police Chief Garrett Rainey speaking out for the first time.
It's been a lot to deal with. I have myself and one other officer.
2 officers make up the small town's police department, so when they came to this house and heard reports of a missing child, they called for help.
Fletcher Police Department, our Sheriff's Office, Apache Police Department, Verdon, our fire department for sure. It was hectic. Typically, we don't have something like this happen here.
Chief Rainey says despite the nonstop calls, nights of no sleep and stress weighing on the community.
Just keep hope. This is what we do. This is our job. This is what we pour our hearts into. So it's instances like this. So just don't give up hope. We'll be back to normal, hopefully sooner than later. Just don't give up hope. Just keep pushing.
And we reached out to OSBI multiple times today hoping for answers. We were told that there shouldn't be any major updates in the investigation today. Now, obviously, with this breaking news, we're going to work to get the latest details and bring them to you as soon as we can.
We're following some breaking news. We have just learned that a man arrested in Maricopa County in connection with the case of a missing 4-year-old girl in Oklahoma is now facing a first-degree murder charge.
That's according to court documents released within the past hour. Ivon Adams appeared in front of a Maricopa County judge this afternoon. Police arrested him yesterday near 67th Avenue and Camelback Road in Phoenix for outstanding felony warrants. Authorities say Adams, along with his wife Alicia, are the caretakers for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield. Police began searching for the little girl Tuesday after a postal worker found her 5-year-old sister near their home in Cyril, Oklahoma. But still, they have not found the 4-year-old Athena. Alysia is facing 2 counts of child neglect. In court today, Ivon Adams waived his right to an extradition hearing.
Breaking news, Ivon Adams, a caregiver for that missing 4-year-old little girl, Athena Brownfield, arrested in Arizona. And Jess, he is now facing murder charges. I'm Abigail Ogle.
I'm Jessica Shambach. KOCO just getting court documents that have a probable cause statement saying, quote, the subject was arrested due to an outstanding felony warrant issued out of Oklahoma for murder in the first degree and child neglect. And KOCO's Kylie Thomas is following these urgent developments.
Kylie, these documents detail what investigators call evidence found on the suspect. Yeah, as you see right here, it says evidence of the crime was found with the suspect and listing that evidence as a cell phone. These documents also confirm little Athena lived with Ivon Adams, who face a judge today for the first time.
Ivon Adams?
For the first time since his arrest, one of missing 4-year-old Athena Brownfield's caretakers stood in front of an Arizona judge awaiting his fate.
So it looks like you have a warrant out of Oklahoma.
The 36-year-old was arrested by Phoenix police on Thursday in connection to Athena's disappearance. The toddler was reported missing Tuesday when a mail carrier found her sister wandering the street alone.
So I want to get there and take care of it.
Authorities arrested him in a Phoenix neighborhood. Police say he was taken into custody without incident.
So you want to waive your right?
I don't want to hear and hear.
Adams waived his right to an extradition hearing, making a shocking statement.
I need to get there and fight this.
Oklahoma authorities will have 30 days to pick Adams up from the Maricopa County Jail. He has a $1 million cash bond. Another one of Athena's caretakers was arrested yesterday. Alysia Adams, Ivon's wife. She was arrested and taken into custody and now faces 2 counts of child neglect. Athena has still not been found. Reporting live from the newsroom, Kylie Thomas, KOCO 5 News.
And our team coverage continues throughout the night. As new developments come in, we will bring you any updates here on air as well as on the KOCO app.
Man behind bars in Phoenix tonight facing murder charges out of Oklahoma.
This is connected to a case of a missing girl after her big sister was found wandering the streets alone. Fox 10's Brian Webb live outside Phoenix Police tonight with more on this developing story. Brian?
Well, the girl still hasn't been found, and there's no word why the sisters weren't living with their biological parents. But what started out as a missing persons case now looks like the possible murder of a pretty young girl. People from far and wide are flocking to this small church in the just as small town of Surreal, Oklahoma. But praying isn't their top priority. It's finding a little girl.
Hundreds of people were out with flashlights in this small town looking for this child, hollering out her name, getting on their knees in the dirt, looking into culverts, looking under abandoned homes.
The trouble started Tuesday when a postal worker found a 5-year-old girl wandering the streets and begging for food with no adult in sight.
She was very scared and terrified. She was saying to the mail lady that she's been left. They've left me. They've left me. They've left me.
Big sister is now in protective custody, but where is 4-year-old Athena? Investigators and volunteers are using every trick and tool they can find, from search dogs and drones to horses and helicopters, with the town's trash collection put on hold.
If you have any sort of video cameras or Ring doorbell systems, if you can come down to the church and provide that to law enforcement, it would be very beneficial.
Then more troubling news on Friday. The girls' caregivers, a husband and wife, both arrested. 31-year-old Alysia Adams, behind bars in Oklahoma, facing 2 counts of child neglect. And 36-year-old Ivon Adams, behind bars in Arizona, facing murder charges back home.
This is an ugly thing, she said, but let's continue to hope and pray that we find Athena.
Court documents show there is evidence on Ivon Adams' phone that leads to his pending murder charges in Oklahoma. We don't know what that is or why or how he was eventually captured in Phoenix. We do know he is awaiting extradition back to Oklahoma. Live in Phoenix, I'm Brian Webb, Fox 10 News.
And we're here already as this vigil is going to start at 8 right here outside of City Hall in Surreal. Now this comes after those arrests of the caretakers, both facing charges of child neglect, one facing a murder charge in connection with Athena Brownfield's disappearance. OHP confirming today they have dive teams searching lakes at the request of OSBI and have been since Tuesday. The town deciding today they should come together for this little girl. A Facebook post asking people to come and bring candles for themselves and others. It also says the chief of the volunteer fire department in Surreal will be there to give a statement for the town. Now tune in at 10 tonight and we will talk to residents who are here as they try to honor Brownfield through this vigil, and we're talking to them as well about what that means as law enforcement continues their search.
Nearly a week into the search for Athena Brownfield, investigators confirmed today they're now looking for this little girl's body, and one of her caregivers, Ivon Adams, has been charged with her murder. OSBI confirming today little Athena Brownfield's investigation is now a recovery effort. The little girl was reported missing last Tuesday after her 5-year-old sister was found all alone by a postal carrier. On Thursday, the caregivers of the girls, Ivon and Alysia Adams, were arrested. Ivon Adams was arrested in Arizona and is facing charges of child neglect and first-degree murder. He's waiting to be extradited back to Oklahoma. Alysia Adams is facing pending charges of child neglect, but has not been formally charged by the state. OSBI confirmed today Athena is related to Alysia and had been in the care of the Adams for at least 1 year. Investigators say the biological parents of the little girl have been interviewed and are cooperating. OSBI is asking the public to not self-deploy to search for Athena's remains. They warn if you do, you could be trespassing or possibly interfering with the investigation by contaminating evidence. Investigators have searched lakes, land, even the home where Athena was living. And new today, agents here at OSBI tell us that little Athena Brownfield was living with Ivon and Alysia Adams, her caregivers. Now we know that Alysia was related to little Athena, and now both of them are behind bars. A small town community lighting candles in honor of 4-year-old Athena Brownfield. Athena's caretakers, Ivon and Alysia Adams, were arrested Thursday. 2 days after Athena was reported missing. We still don't know the last time she was actually seen. Ivon now faces first-degree murder and child neglect charges. Court documents from Arizona, where he was arrested, tell us evidence was found on his cell phone. He appeared before a judge Friday for the first time.
So I want to get there and take care of her.
Now he waits to be brought back to Oklahoma.
I need to get there and fight this.
Alysia Adams, the other caretaker who was related to Athena, is set to face a judge for the first time tomorrow in Caddo County. She faces possible child neglect charges, but has not been formally charged by the state, and no documents have been released about what she's accused of. OSBI says the biological parents of Athena have been cooperating, and agents warn the public to not speculate through social media as it could interfere with their investigation. Investigators also ask that you don't self-deploy in helping search for Athena's remains, as you could be trespassing or contaminate evidence in this ongoing investigation. In Oklahoma City, Elise Jones, KOCO 5 News.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
Child remains have been found near Rush Springs. Thanks for joining us here at 4 o'clock. I'm Abigail Ogle.
And I'm Zach Royale. State agents have not yet confirmed that this is the body of missing 4-year-old Athena Brownfield. But new court documents just in today show that the alleged murderer said that he did bury her in Rush Springs. KOCO's Elise Jones has been following this really since the beginning, and a lot of breaking details just into the newsroom this afternoon on this case that really the entire state is following.
Elise, the remains just found, also one of the caregivers in court for the first time today. So Elise, just break down what we know. A lot coming into the newsroom right now.
Well, Abby and Zach, like you said, just moments ago, we learned that those remains were found near Rush Springs in rural Grady County. OSBI does say that they cannot confirm that they are Athena Brownfield. That'll be up to the medical examiner. Now, we do know that with those remains, these court documents do say that Ivon Adams, the man accused of possibly murdering Athena Brownfield, might have buried her at one of their old homes there near a fence line and marked her grave with a broken branch. New court documents filed today against Ivon Adams say his wife Alysia confessed to investigators that her husband beat Athena Brownfield on Christmas, killing her. According to the documents, Adams told police her husband held the little girl up by the arms until she wasn't moving and, quote, her eyes were barely open. She says he then laid her head on the ground and, quote, punched her at least 3 more times in the chest until she was still. Athena Brownfield wasn't reported missing until January 10th, 2 weeks and 2 days after she was apparently killed. When found by a mail carrier, Athena's 5-year-old sister told police she was, quote, tired of being alone, but it's unclear how long she was left at this home in Cyril without an adult. Now efforts to find the remains of 4-year-old Athena Brownfield are still underway. Alysia told investigators her husband left around 1 in the morning with the body of Athena on December 26th. And he told Alysia he buried Athena near a fence line at their old house in Rush Springs, about 22 miles from Cyril, marking her grave with a broken branch. And again, we'll have team coverage of this breaking news as it continues to unfold. But I do want to point out a few important details about that court appearance with Alysia Adams here today at the Caddo County Courthouse. Now, she was given a bond of $500,000. If she does bond out, there's a few restrictions. She'll have to stay in Oklahoma, have a GPS tracker, and no contact with any witnesses. Now, we do know that some of those witnesses could end up being her own children. But again, as this case just continues to unfold, we'll be sure to bring you the latest. Reporting live in Caddo County, Elise Jones, KOCO 5 News. Abby, Jess, the court wouldn't allow cameras in or outside of the room, but like you said, I was there as Alysia Adams faced a judge for the first time. Now, in these court documents released today, we learned that Ivon and Alysia Adams, the caregivers of Athena and her 5-year-old sister, had the girls in their care for 1.5 to 2 years. It says that their biological mom gave her daughters to this couple. Now, Alysia, one of the girls' caregivers, is now facing 2 felony counts of child neglect, one for leaving Athena's 5-year-old sister unsupervised, the second for leaving Athena without protection from her husband, Ivon Adams, who allegedly murdered the 4-year-old little girl. $500,000. That's the bond amount that was set today at the Caddo County Courthouse as Alysia Adams faced her fate. If posted, a judge ruled Adams will have to stay in Oklahoma, wear a GPS tracking device, and can't have any contact with witnesses, some of those who may be her own children. The public defender in the case put in an application for a gag order, saying it's impossible to have a fair trial with affidavits floating around social media. OSBI warned the public yesterday that social media rumors could hinder progress. This affidavit released today details what may have happened to Athena Brownfield. It says the caregivers never enrolled Athena's 5-year-old sister in school or took the girls to the doctor. Athena's sister told police when they found her all alone that she was, quote, tired of being alone. It's unclear how long that little girl was left without care. Documents say Alysia confessed to investigators last week that her husband, Ivon Adams, beat and killed Athena on Christmas Day. We're going to keep pushing for answers for a clear timeline of what has happened in this investigation. I reached out to OSBI multiple times today with questions, including how the girls were in the care of the Adams family. We have yet to hear back on those questions.
We want to get back and continue our team coverage now as we begin to learn more details about the alleged murder of Athena Brownfield. It has also led to more legal questions.
KOCO Zach Rael spoke with a Metro attorney who has been involved in countless other high-profile cases about how this could all play out for the couple accused in this case.
I would expect a case like this to take at least a year, more likely a 1.5 or 2 years before it's resolved.
Defense attorney Ed Blau giving his perspective on what's next for Ivon and Alysia Adams. Ivon, arrested in Arizona, is charged with Athena Brownfield's murder. Alysia faces 2 counts of child neglect. New court documents say that Alysia confessed to investigators that her husband beat Athena on Christmas night at their Cyril home. The next day, she says he buried the 4-year-old's body near Rush Springs. Blau says depending on the evidence, it's possible more charges could be filed.
If she knew that he did it, she was under no obligation to turn him in. However, if she participated in any way in helping him or covering it up or helping him leave the state, then she would be culpable for, at a minimum, accessory after the fact.
Blau says the fact that Alysia did talk with investigators could help her down the road.
Based on the evidence we know about, it seems like Miss Adams gave information against her husband, and that likely led to his arrest and will help with the prosecution. Whether or not ultimately she agrees to testify against him, that'll depend on negotiations between her attorney and the prosecutors.
The Adams defense attorney has already asked for a gag order on this case because of the massive attention it's received. Blau says they will likely ask for a change of venue.
In a case like this, it's going to come down to, can a judge find a sufficient number of people who haven't formed opinions to sit on a jury and give these individuals fair trials? Whether or not that's possible is yet to be seen.
As far as what punishment Ivon could be facing, Blau believes this case could warrant the harshest penalty our legal system allows.
Given the brutal nature of the crime as it's been described up to this point, this would seem to be a case where a prosecutor would seek the death penalty in the state of Oklahoma.
We know Ivon Adams is being held on a $1 million bond, awaiting extradition to Oklahoma. Alysia Adams, who had that court appearance today, has a $500,000 bond with some restrictions. If posted, she would not be allowed to leave the state, has to have a GPS tracker on her, and cannot contact witnesses.
Well, we've been trying to get answers for days, but with the investigation still active and the uncertainty of if little Athena's remains have been found, OSBI is staying pretty silent. The investigation into a little girl's disappearance, now a murder case. OSBI says they found child remains near Rush Springs Tuesday, but have not confirmed if they are Athena's remains. The medical examiner's office told KOCO today they don't currently have anyone in their database by the name of Athena Brownfield. But if remains discovered are identified as the little girl, the report will be made public. We asked OSBI some of the most pressing questions, like were Athena and her sister in state custody, and how long was Athena's 5-year-old sister home alone? They didn't respond to either of those questions. Instead, they say, quote, "We are 1 week and a day into this investigation. It is very early, and priority number 1 was locating Athena." OSBI also told KOCO they were unsure of the timeline of when Ivon Adams, the man charged with murdering little Athena, would be extradited back to the state after his arrest in Arizona. Coming up tonight at 5, we're looking into how Athena and her sister got into the custody of Ivon and Alysia Adams. I talked to a family law attorney about how the biological parents of the little girl could now be involved in this case.
Police say Athena's mom left her in the care of Alysia and Ivon Adams as many as 2 years ago. KOCO's Elise Jones has been closely covering this horrible story since it began. Elise, so many people are asking right now, is it legal to just give your kids to someone else?
Well, Evan, the answer isn't clear. Sometimes DHS will place children with family members, but they haven't confirmed whether they had any involvement in this case yet or not. Now, an attorney told me today that parents have an obligation to make sure their children are cared for.
Ideally, if you're going to have a child that's out of your home for a significant amount of time, I mean, you would go through the court and give a legal guardianship to somebody.
Questions surrounding how these two caregivers, Ivon and Alysia Adams, became responsible for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield and her 5-year-old sister. A court document released Tuesday confirmed Athena Brownfield and her sister were living with Ivon and Alysia Adams after their biological mom left them in the care of the couple. It says Athena and her sister called them Mom and Dad, or Uncle Ivon and Allie. Attorney Link Gillette isn't affiliated with this case, but has been in family law for 15 years. He told me leaving your children with someone isn't necessarily illegal or criminally neglectful, but it comes with complications.
Ultimately, you as the parent have the responsibility as that parent legally responsible for your child, and you have to make safe decisions for your child.
Athena's 5-year-old sister was not enrolled in school, and the affidavit says Alysia and Ivon did not take either child for checkups. And the attorney says that parents are often worried to go through the courts to get someone else to care for their kids because of the cost or other issues. Now, Athena's biological parents have not faced any charges in this case, and OSBI says they are cooperating. Reporting live in the newsroom, Elise Jones, KOCO 5 News.
As we begin at 5 with the latest in the search for missing 4-year-old Athena Brownfield. She went missing nearly a week ago in Surreal. Today, authorities revisited a site they searched before. News 4's Taylor Mitchell joins us live. Taylor, what do we know?
Well, that's right, Adria. I'm currently standing in front of the home where Athena was living when she disappeared. This is also the place she reportedly was last seen, and we know police or some type of officials were here earlier today. We're not sure why, but they are gone now. I do want to move out of the way so you could take a live look at the home, because I do want to zoom up on the front porch. We were out here last night. You can see candles on the front porch here. I'm assuming, again, that's from last night's candlelight vigil that was held in front of City Hall Saturday night. But this is the home of the older sister, Adina, who walked out of and approached the postal worker on Tuesday, which sparked the investigation into Athena's disappearance. And I want to walk you through what started the search last week. OSBI obtained a search warrant for the home, and it was searched Wednesday morning. They put up yellow tape around the home, and investigators were seen taking brown paper bags from the home, but OSBI wouldn't call it evidence, only items that could help with the investigation. Then Thursday night, a white SUV was towed out from in front of the home, likely to be checked for evidence. And then Friday, the search continued into Saturday. But yesterday, police officials confirmed they were containing the search warrant towards bodies of water. And we brought you that live coverage Saturday afternoon where crews were conducting pond searches in southern Grady County. And also last night, a vigil held for Athena. I spoke with loved ones of Athena. They say to keep on praying, keep searching for her safe return home. But we also reached out to OSBI today as well just to get an update, but we haven't heard anything from them yet. But News 4 is on top of the story. We're going to bring you the latest coverage. We're going to have more tonight at 10 as well. Live in Sorrel, Taylor Mitchell, Oklahoma's News 4.
Attending a party and posing for pictures just days after the killing of 4-year-old Athena Brownfield.
Her caretakers presented a happy life. Now, Alysia Adams is charged with child neglect, and Ivon Adams has an added murder charge.
News 9's Sylvia Corkill live at the OSBI with their social media posts. Sylvia.
Carl, Amanda, selfies, motivational quotes, and even a picture taken of them at a company party depict a happy couple. All of those posts, investigators believe, were taken after Athena was murdered. 2 days after Athena Brownfield's sister was found wandering near this home, triggering an all-out search for 4-year-old Athena, their caretakers, Alysia Adams, and her now estranged husband, Ivon, were arrested. In court filings, Alysia told OSBI investigators on Christmas Day her spouse, Ivon, beat Athena until she was not moving and her eyes were barely open. Around 1 a.m. December 26th, Alysia said Ivon left their Surreal home, later returning, telling her he buried Athena along the fence line of their former residence near Rush Springs. Despite that, posts to social media indicate the couple never grappled with Athena's death. Just 3 days after her murder, December 29th, Alysia took to her Instagram to show off her manicure. December 30th, she posted her photo at a hair salon ahead of her husband's work party, where they're both seen smiling for the camera. Also from that night, Adams poses for a silly picture atop a buffalo statue. Then New Year's Eve, Alysia shares a quote reading, "I love New Year's, this feeling of starting over again." January 1st, posting this picture, writing, "2022 was a hell of a year, so ready to make 2023 mine." January 3rd, she says, "One thing I realized is that everything always ends up working out." Then January 6th, the day investigators believe Athena's sister had been left alone, Alysia posts these pictures taken on a date with a new boyfriend, reading, "Best night with the man of my dreams," going on to say, "Can't wait to build the best life with you." Now, in a statement to News 9, the man seen in those photos with Alysia released a statement to us telling us that his heart goes out to Athena and that he hopes justice is served. Live from OSBI headquarters, Sylvia Corkill, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Well, Evan and Zach, we got here pretty early this afternoon and still no sight of Ivon Adams. I'm going to show you this gate here behind me. We believe this is where law enforcement will bring him when he gets here as they transfer him from Arizona back to Oklahoma. Ivon Adams, the man who allegedly murdered 4-year-old Athena Brownfield Christmas night, is on his way back to Oklahoma, where he's charged with first-degree murder and child neglect. Jail officials in Arizona told KOCO Adams was released early this morning to another agency. Adams was arrested 1 week ago in Arizona after his wife Alysia Adams told police Ivon beat the little girl to death and buried her at an old property in Rush Springs. On Tuesday, state agents found child remains near Rush Springs. They still haven't confirmed the remains are Athena Brownfield's. That'll be up to the medical examiner. Adams' wife, Alysia, sits in the jail he's expected at soon. She's charged with 2 counts of child neglect. Also Tuesday, a judge granted a gag order in the case, saying attorneys, agents, and law enforcement are, quote, prohibited from making extrajudicial public comments to any news media or reporters. Alysia Adams' attorneys argued for that order based on the national and international attention on this case. This order includes any talk about Alysia's charges or evidence in the case. It says the only things allowed are general statements about her presumed innocence and scheduling information for her court dates.
Now, we know the district attorney said on Tuesday that Alysia Adams could be facing additional or upgraded charges. There is no gag order filed at this point for Ivon Adams. And guys, we also learned to this afternoon that Athena Brownfield's funeral services will be held next week in Enid. Senator Roger Thompson will be officiating those services. He told KOCO today he's just grateful for that opportunity. We'll keep bringing you the latest as we wait here for Ivon Adams' arrival. Reporting live in Caddo County, Elise Jones, KOCO 5 News. Well, Evan and Jess, I am going to tell you how you can help. And first, we do know that the medical examiner is still working to identify child remains found earlier this week in Grady County. Since then, the community has been coming together, mourning the loss of 4-year-old Athena Brownfield and looking to help her 5-year-old sister.
As days pass, the vigil outside where Athena Brownfield lived grows. Stuffed animals and flowers covering the steps of the home that's now empty, as the small town of Cyril mourns the loss of a 4-year-old girl. Last week, the town came together to search for her, pray for her, and set up fundraisers for her and her 5-year-old sister. Athena's obituary describes her as a little girl who loved coloring, baby shark, and playing dress-up. Her favorite color was purple, but most of all, Athena and her sister were close, or, quote, joined at the hip. Her sister was found by a postal carrier on January 10th and told her she was, quote, tired of being alone. Now they urge anyone moved by the story of Athena and her sister to help ensure she never has to worry about being alone and without a community who cares for her. KOCO looked into all the ways you can donate and help Athena's sister. From these t-shirts in the little girl's honor saying every child deserves a safe childhood to a bank account you can donate to. The account was set up with the First National Bank and Trust. The bank says you can donate to any of their 11 locations in Oklahoma or mail in a donation for the Brownfield account. Another way to donate is through the Family Life Church that was once the gathering place for hundreds of volunteers. They're taking donations via PayPal to add to the girl's account. You may have seen a GoFundMe raising money for the same fund. The organizers decided to shut it down.
So a lot of different ways that you can donate and help support Athena's sister, as well as honor the life of Athena Brownfield. Guys, we learned today that her funeral is set for next week. Senator Roger Thompson will be officiating. He says he's honored to have that opportunity. We're going to have all of the information on how you can donate and help linked on KOCO.com.
Now we have new details this morning in the murder investigation of Athena Brownfield. The man accused of killing her is now back in Oklahoma.
Ivon Adams was just booked into the Caddo County Jail yesterday. He was arrested, though, in Arizona last week. But how about this? A gag order has been filed on her case, saying that lawyers and law enforcement in Caddo County cannot talk about this publicly. Attorneys saying public interest is a big reason for this.
Gag orders are exceedingly rare, and they generally only occur in the most high-profile cases. 2 examples are the Oklahoma City bombing and then the Daniel Holtzclaw case.
Yeah, so highly unusual there. Athena's funeral services will be next week in Enid, with Senator Roger Thompson officiating. We will, of course, continue to follow all of these developments no matter what happens. We are also still awaiting that ID of those child remains found in Grady County. We've got all this information on KOCO.com.
We want to get back and continue our team coverage now as we begin to learn more details about the alleged murder of Athena Brownfield. It has also led to more legal questions.
KOCO's Zach Rael spoke with a Metro attorney who has been involved in countless other high-profile cases about how this could all play out for the couple accused in this case.
I would expect a case like this to take at least a year, more likely a year and a half or 2 years before it's resolved.
Defense attorney Ed Blau giving his perspective on what's next for Ivon and Alysia Adams. Ivon, arrested in Arizona, is charged with Athena Brownfield's murder. Alysia faces 2 counts of child neglect. New court documents say that Alysia confessed to investigators that her husband beat Athena on Christmas night at their Surreal home. The next day, she says he buried the 4-year-old's body near Rush Springs. Blau says depending on the evidence, it's possible more charges could be filed.
If she knew that he did it, she was under no obligation to turn him in. However, if she participated in any way in helping him or covering it up or helping him leave the state, then she would be culpable for, at a minimum, accessory after the fact.
Blau says the fact that Alysia did talk with investigators could help her down the road.
Based on the evidence we know about, it seems like Miss Adams gave information against her husband, and that likely led to his arrest and will help with the prosecution. Whether or not ultimately she agrees to testify against him, that'll depend on negotiations between her attorney and the prosecutors.
The Adams defense attorney has already asked for a gag order on this case because of the massive attention it's received. Blau says they will likely ask for a change of venue.
In a case like this, it's going to come down to, can a judge find a sufficient number of people who haven't formed opinions to sit on a jury and give these individuals fair trials? Whether or not that's possible is yet to be seen.
As far as what punishment Ivon could be facing, Blau believes this case could warrant the harshest penalty our legal system allows.
Given the brutal nature of the crime as it's been described up to this point, this would seem to be a case where a prosecutor would seek the death penalty in the state of Oklahoma.
We know Ivon Adams is being held on a $1 million bond awaiting extradition to Oklahoma. Alysia Adams, who had that court appearance today, has a $500,000 bond with some restrictions. If posted, she would not be allowed to leave the state, has to have a GPS tracker on her, and cannot contact witnesses.
The murder of a 4-year-old child in Surreal goes before a Caddo County judge.
He was brought back from Arizona last night and booked into the Caddo County Jail. As News 9's Angelicia Bruton reports, he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
The man accused of killing 4-year-old Athena Brownfield had his first court appearance here Friday in Caddo County. The state and defense attorney both signed off on a gag order in this case. The order says law enforcement, court personnel, and counsel of both parties cannot comment on the case to news media and on social media. The court also denied a bond for Ivon Adams, who had been extradited from Arizona. His defense attorney, Mitchell Solomon, says he was not going to argue the request at this time. Adams is facing 1 count of child neglect and 1 count of first-degree murder. His wife, Alysia Adams, is also behind bars at the Caddo County Detention Center. She's facing 2 counts of child neglect, 1 for Athena Brownfield and the other for Athena's 5-year-old sister. A legal expert not associated with this case says a gag order is usually used to ensure a fair trial.
So many people will have seen the story and so many people will have formed opinions on the story that getting 12 jurors who can be fair and open-minded is going to be extraordinarily difficult.
Ivon Adams' next court appearance will be April 27th at 9 a.m. In Anadarko, Angelicia Bruton, Oklahoma's Own, News 9.